Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I'm really enjoying these days off. Oh, they happen so rarely. So it's just such a treat when they do happen. I'm having the best time, and I'm very, very much starting to feel festive now. Just, the whole thing, knowing there's no work now, especially for me or my husband, that we're both off. And with yesterday, with us now being into the 20s of December, we have allowed ourselves to start on the Christmassy treat food. Because I don't like to start too early, because then it drags on a little bit and it's like slightly less special. But especially with us being away at Christmas, we started on some of the treats and biscuits last night, and it just felt so cozy and festive and very nice. And we also tend to be a bit more relaxed about staying up slightly later because, there's nothing demanding our attention in the morning. Well, not quite nothing. There's a certain little girl that does, but aside from her. So, yeah, later nights, slower mornings, and I love this time of year. I really do. And I'm being particularly gentle with myself with these slower mornings, because I quite often feel guilty about letting myself sleep in, because I'm like, you've wasted the day, blah, blah, blah. But I am being particularly gentle and forgiving with myself, because I'm like, no, my body needs to rest because it's got some work to do. So yeah, last night was very painful, and I was trying to figure out what in particular, because it does get more painful at night anyway. I've kind of noticed that as part of the routine. I think it's also swelling. As it gets more painful, and as I've used it in teeny tiny increments throughout the day, I think my wrist is swelling slightly at night, because the cast gets a lot more uncomfortable in the evenings. So I think that's probably also got a lot to do with it. Now, with yesterday in particular, I did wash my hair, which is difficult and awkward and blah, blah, blah. So that could also have contributed. But I also did some knitting. And there is a chance, even if I don't want to admit it, there is a chance that the knitting may also have contributed. So I'm not going to discount that as a possibility. I think with the knitting, while I can do it, it's going to be small, very small bursts is the only way that I can do it without potentially causing more damage. But I did some, and I'm going to show you because I'm so happy about it. I say I'm going to show you as though there's a significant amount to see. There's not. Going to tell you that right now. But I am on the colour work, which in itself is an inconvenient place to be in the situation that I'm in. Because if I were on a normal non-colour work, just standard knitting sweater, I would probably have been able to do a lot more, because there'd be far less left-hand involvement. But when I knit colour work, I have my main colour in my right hand, because that's the way I generally am an English style knitter. But I hold my contrast colour in my left, and those stitches I do continental. If I'd been on any other sweater, but it is possible. That is the main thing, is it is possible. And it's more uncomfortable than painful, I think. There are some aspects that are more difficult than others. Make one left and make one right stitches in particular, those are tricky, because it turns out when I do those, I'm doing a lot with my left hand to create room for myself to make those stitches. New discovery as of yesterday. So you don't realize you're doing it, do you? You have no idea how you actually do things until something changes your ability to do those things. And then you actually start noticing, you're like, turns out I do this. So it transpires that I'm using my left hand to create the room in those stitches. And that is very, very difficult at the moment. So those are a particular hurdle. But there's only 8 every 2 rows. So it's not like I'm doing them a huge amount. But yes, it is still possible. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of knitting today, slowly, carefully, and in very small bursts. And I'm just going to keep an eye on how things feel and stop if I need to. I think that's the only way to do it, really. But I'm just so relieved that I can, which might well not be the case tomorrow once they've poked and prodded at it a bit more. I'm very aware of that. And I'm now in a bit of an odd situation with it. You know, thinking about tomorrow and what's going to happen. They will likely cut off the cast. I'm expecting that because they will want to properly assess it. So I'm anticipating that the cast will come off, which I'll be honest is something I'm kind of looking forward to. It's annoying me now. I'm bored. I want it off. But the kind of predicament now, this is going to sound really weird. Obviously, I don't want my wrist to be broken. I do not want to have broken my wrist. They're treating it as an assumed break. And then tomorrow they will kind of decide whether to look for a break, because they might be able to see it as of tomorrow. Obviously, I don't want it to be broken. But part of me hopes it is, which sounds really weird. But just bear with me. If it's not broken and that was how much it hurt, what would a broken one, like, oh my God, I don't have a very low pain, I'm not going to say I've got an incredibly high pain tolerance, but I don't think I have a low one. That was excruciating. So part of me doesn't want the pain to be for nothing, which I know is a weird thing, but I think the other part of it is, if it's not broken, they will cut off this cast and they will give me a splint. Now, the cast did so much to reduce the pain, so much. It was actually, it was astonishing how much the cast helped, because the weight of my hand wasn't on my wrist anymore. My wrist didn't have to support my hand's weight, and that took away so much pain. And part of me's a bit frightened that they'll take the cast off and that pain will return, and then they won't give me another cast, and that I will have to make do with a splint, which, I'll be able to take off. I can, shower without having to put my arm in a bag and things like that, and I can clean my wrist. I'm so looking forward to being able to clean my arm. But there is just that anxiety that the pain will come back. Now, I will say it's less painful than it was a week ago. There are a few movements that are slightly easier now than they were this time last week. So some progress has been made. Either that, or I'm just getting a lot better at maneuvering around it. Could be a little bit of both. It might be a little bit of both. But yeah, part of me is a little worried that if it's not broken, I will be in more pain as a result, just from the way that it will be treated. I'm also highly aware that I've sprained a lot of things in my time. So that my right wrist, for example, I sprained my right wrist. Gosh, when did I do that? 2021, I think. Summer of 2021. And that still causes me problems. It was a nasty sprain, and it still causes me problems. And I have said in the past that I almost wished I'd broken it, because I feel like it would have healed a lot quicker and a lot more finally, and it wouldn't just be lingering on and constantly just causing teeny little problems. So I have in the past said I almost wish I'd broken it. And now I'm like, oh, for long term, would it be better to be broken? Because I know how awkward and inconvenient a nasty sprain can be. And I know that it can linger and never quite heal properly. So part of me sat here going, would a break be a few weeks of annoyance, but then kind of done, closed, finished, move on? I don't know. Just the thoughts. These are just the thoughts. This is what I'm pondering at the moment, what's going through my head in anticipation of tomorrow. So thought I'd share them. You're welcome. But yeah, that's currently where my mind is at, ready for tomorrow's appointment, which I said I'm not looking forward to, purely because I know that it's going to be like poked at and it's going to hurt. I would be very surprised if I went home from tomorrow's appointment and was like, oh, that didn't hurt. I'm expecting it to hurt. So a little apprehensive, but it's not till tomorrow. I don't have to, I can put it in the back of my mind. That's a tomorrow problem, not a today problem. But today's problem is getting open my Advent. So 21st. So yesterday it was grey, and I predicted that we were starting to move through into either a purple or a blue. Let's see how accurate I was or was not. Oh, yes, no, I think I may have been right with the blue. That little purple thread yesterday made me pause, but I think it may be going through into blue. It's a very nice grey. But especially, oh, you can see it there in particular in the, oh, that looks green in the photo. That looks green on camera. It's like a turquoisey. Like that is very much, that's got a lot of the colour in it. But yeah, those are almost like pale teal threads going through there. We've come out of green, so I'm going to say it's not green. My prediction is going to be blue, but it's looking to be a very nice blue. I can't believe I've only got 3 left. I want to carry on forever. Oh, 3 left. I'm very nearly done, and I still haven't caught up on my chocolate advents. At this point, I'm just going to have to sit and I just take the tray out and just eat through them all. Maybe that's going to be my job for this evening, is to just sit and pick through my chocolate advents. But I am going to head off. I'm still planning on doing a stream. Not entirely sure what though. This is the difficulty, is like figuring out what I can do and how much of it I can do as well. I'll figure something out. In fact, I'm going to go and figure it out right now. I will check in again this evening. Raining, darling, but we've got to go for a walk. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hello, good evening. Oh, it's been a weird day. Like, I feel like I've not actually had much day, but then again, I did chill and lie in bed quite late today. So I suppose that's to be expected, really. I did get some knitting done. I did a stream I say some knitting, I managed one entire round of my Rosie sweater and it took me 2 hours. But that is still progress. I definitely couldn't go any faster, and I could feel my arm by the end, my wrist. It definitely aggravated it a little bit. But still, I am capable of working on it. And that in itself feels good. So yeah, it is still very much, it doesn't look any different from the last time. Although, I don't know, actually, you can see the roses. Given that, hang on, it's going to be that way because it's top down. So those roses are starting to become recognizably roses. I might do a bit more tonight. I'll see. I think the priority this evening has to be finishing getting these presents sorted, because I'm making the assumption, I could be completely wrong, but I'm making the assumption that my arm will hurt tomorrow after whatever they do to it. So the plan is to get these sorted tonight, and then that's done and out of the way. So that's the plan. I don't really have anything else planned aside from that, really. Maybe I'll put a film on while I do it. That might be nice, actually. Maybe I will put a film on. Because obviously I'm taking my time. I did realise I'd written out a load of tags. One of them is for my sister's present, the one I gave her on Friday. Oh well. So yes, I think that is the plan this evening. Get the presents finished. Get them under the tree. Because also then this room will feel a lot less crowded and cramped, because you can't see, the floor here is literally just covered in gift bags. It's just piles and piles of stuff. So it'd be nice to get this out of here. So I'm quite looking forward to having some space just to get to the window and things as well. Getting to the light to turn it on is like it's like an assault course at the moment, and I'm not in a position to be doing an assault course. Maybe I'll make myself a cozy drink. I've been saying that a couple of times, but I haven't done it. Now, I can't have a drink tonight because I just don't want it to have any bearing on the appointment tomorrow. It probably wouldn't, but I don't want to run the risk, you know. So I might have myself a little hot chocolate or a chai latte or something of that variety. But yes, very happy to have gotten some knitting done. And it's, like I said, while I could feel my arm, it wasn't so painful that I'm not wanting to touch it again for the rest of the evening. Like I'd happily pick that up again and do a bit more. So that's quite nice to know. But yeah, I think it's just the apprehension for tomorrow, really, that's now sat with me. I feel like there was something else I was going to talk to you about, and I can't remember what it is. I'll remember the second I stop, I can guarantee it. The number of times I've been like, oh, I meant to mention that in my video. Nope. That's okay. If it's important, I'll remember and mention it in another video. So yes, I think that is the plan for this evening. Is just, Christmassy film. Or just any film. It doesn't have to be Christmassy, just a film. Finish wrapping. And get it all down and under the tree. And then I'll feel like I can breathe a little more. Which, I'll be honest, I'm quite looking forward to, because there's just so much stuff here. So much stuff. It's stressing me out. It really is. Obviously, it is Sunday, so I've only got one chapter left for this week's Anne of Green Gables read along. I might cheat and go ahead and do 2, purely because I know it's going to start getting really busy from now. And there's still another 8-9 chapters left. So I might do more than the recommended tonight and just give myself a little head start on next week. Maybe I'll do that. I think that sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan. That's what we'll do. All right. I'm going to start doing that, all of that. And I will check in again tomorrow. I'll do my clip before I go to the appointment. Yeah. I haven't decided whether I want to do my advent before or after, because I've got 3 to open again tomorrow. And I don't know whether I want to do it before I go or after I come back to possibly cheer myself up. We'll see. That'll be a decision I make this evening. But yes, I will see you tomorrow. I did read 2 chapters, an epoch in Anne's life, and the Queen's Club is organised. Anne is bringing the cows in when Diana runs up, excited. Her Aunt Josephine has invited the 2 of them to the town to stay with her and attend an exhibition. Marilla permits Anne, and they have the most wonderful time. There were prizes and horse racing, a hot air balloon, and in the evening they attended a concert and then went for ice cream. Anne loved it, but decided she isn't destined to live in a city. In the November of that year, Miss Stacy calls at Green Gables and asks Matthew and Marilla if they'd be interested in Anne staying for extra lessons as part of a group studying for Queens. Anne is enthusiastic and says she'd love to train to be a teacher, and Marilla says she and Matthew will cover the cost of putting her through Queens. Anne works very hard, and she and Gilbert develop a true rivalry to be top of the class. Anne regrets her cold and unforgiving attitude to him and wishes she could respond differently to that conversation by the river, realising that she has forgiven him. Matthew has a bit of a bad time with his heart, and Mrs. Lynde calls by the house, where she admits to Marilla that despite her initial reservations about Anne, she's turned out very smart and is looking lovelier as she grows.